Traditionally, for Japanese cars, the paintwork is quite weak, therefore chips and scratches on the body are a common occurrence. The Mitsubishi Outlander III body iron is, in principle, of good quality, and if the car has not been restored after a serious accident, then there should be no problems with corrosion resistance. In places where the paint is chipped, after a while the metal may begin to oxidize, but as a rule, this does not lead to serious consequences. However, it is better not to delay the restoration of the paintwork. The windshield is also not famous for its reliability. Chips and even cracks can appear from hitting a small pebble. In terms of electrics, the owners blame the electrics control unit. The dipped beam spontaneously turns on and the engine coolant radiator fans start spinning constantly. The problem is floating. It can only be eliminated by pulling out the fuse. All motors were slightly deformed and the control program was changed. Thanks to this, they digest 90-second gasoline without problems. Only the most powerful motor became an exception. Also, these changes has a positive effect on fuel consumption. For example, for engines 2.0 and 2.4, the average consumption in the city is 10-11 liters per 100 km. Motors 2.0 and 2.4 are equipped with a timing chain drive, but a belt is installed on the 3-liter engine. According to the regulations, the belt needs to be changed every 90,000 kilometers, but already at 70,000 kilometers, you need to carefully monitor its condition. The chain is quite reliable and subject to proper maintenance can last up to 300,000 kilometers, but the cost of replacing it can be unpleasantly surprising. If we talk about the reliability of power units in general, then no significant shortcomings have been identified in them yet. Perhaps there are no negative statistics yet because most cars have not even run over 100,000 km. Of the minor troubles, one can single out loss of tightness of the coolant radiator. In most cases, the defect was eliminated under warranty, unstable operation on XX on some copies, as well as vibration in the body. Often, even on car with low mileage, a generator squeaks at maximum load. The engine maintenance interval is 15,000 kilometers, but many experts claim that it is very long and recommend changing the oil and filter at least once every 8–10,000 kilometers. The Mitsubishi Outlander III is equipped with 3 types of gearboxes: a CVT stepless variator from Jetco 7, 6-speed automatic and manual, only installed on diesel versions. Automatic transmissions are very demanding on the quality of lubricants and service intervals, at least once every 60,000 kilometers. If these requirements are met, the transmission can last 300–350,000 kilometers without repair. The variator is quite capricious and unfortunately will not be able to please its owners with a long service life. Its resource does not exist to 100,000 kilometers, and the replacement will cost about 5,000 USD. Therefore, it is better to refuse to buy a second-hand car with such a transmission, especially if the car's mileage is more than 80,000 kilometers. The first sign of a CVT malfunction will be a distinct metallic knocking during acceleration, and at high speeds the car does not accelerate well. Also, it is necessary to check the color of the oil. Greenish color, the oil was changed recently. If the oil was changed a long time ago, its color will be brown. The disadvantages of this transmission include rapid overheating with frequent traffic and traffic jams, slippage and at speeds over 120 km per hour. On cars manufactured after 2014, they began to install an additional radiator, which slightly improved the situation, but did not completely solve the problem. 4-wheel drive in Mitsubishi Outlander III is plug-in and deactivated using a multi-plate clutch when the front wheels slip. The clutch is maintenance-free, but in the gearbox it is necessary to change the oil and filter every 100–120,000 kilometers. The all-wheel drive system is generally reliable, but it is very afraid of frequent overheating. Therefore, this car should not be considered for constant off-road force. To check the condition of the clutch, it is necessary to turn on the 4-wheel drive, auto or lock, then slowly and smoothly make several 360-degree turns. If there is a characteristic crunch, squeal, clang or other extraneous sounds, it is better to refuse to buy such a car. Like the previous generation, the Mitsubishi Outlander III is equipped with a fully independent suspension, McPherson strut in front, multi-link in the rear, while the suspension settings have been changed. As for the reliability of the chassis, most of its parts are not famous for their endurance. The rubber suspension elements, shock absorber rods, silent blocks, stabilizer bushings cause the most complaints, and the problem lies not in their quality, but in the fact that they very poorly tolerate the effects of salts and reagents which our roads are generously sprinkled with. Traditionally, for modern cars, stabilizer struts do not last long, up to 40,000 kilometers. The rear shock absorbers, with careful operation, can last 50–60,000 kilometers, the front ones a little longer, 70–80,000 kilometers. The rest of the suspension elements, on average, live up to 80–100,000 kilometers. Brake pads run 30–40,000 kilometers, discs 60–70,000 kilometers. When replacing the pads, it is imperative to lubricate the caliper guides, otherwise, over time the brakes will start to wedge. Compared to its predecessors, the interior of this generation of the model began to look more modern, but the quality of finishing materials, unfortunately, remaining at the same low level. As a result, extraneous squeaks and knocks bother the owners of even practically new cars. The new Mitsubishi Outlander III is not famous for its good sound insulation. On most specimens, over time, moisture began to collect in the ceiling in the area of U200B, U200B THE ceiling. As for the electrical equipment, at the moment, no serious problems have been identified with it. The only thing that many owners complain about is the weak glass blowing.